Dude, pointed stick.
Pointed stick! Pointed stick!
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick!
Whoa, pointed stick.
That pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick. We don't have any time for your trolling behavior on this channel. It just isn't welcome here. And so, good riddance to you.
All right, so they took that down. Obviously, that's why I was watching it on my phone. I was just making sure, and I want to come back on here and make sure that I'm still up and running. But in the end, yeah, this is some bullshit. This is let's see what they get my stream on. Due to copyright, your stream is interrupted. Okay. Streams are interrupted when copyright content is detected. So yeah, they got me on copyright on that. What are they hiding? Oh my god. You know, this fucking dude. Like, so Ian Caroll is a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. He's a total piece of shit. How long I get through that? And thank you, Tucker. I got through fucking 9 minutes and 47 seconds before it cut me out of this bullshit. What is this going to be? This is going to be 2.5 hours of this fucking nonsense. This is all fan fiction. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He has no fucking clue whatsoever what he's talking about. And, you know, I don't know where he's getting his information. You know, and he does kind of what conspiracy theorists do, right? They talk in kind of weird. They don't use facts and evidence, right? They say random shit. And so, you know, and that's what this guy is. This guy is not a fact-based conspiracy guy. He's a nonsense-based conspiracy guy. He's I don't know where he's getting his information from. You know, maybe somebody's leading down a bad path. I don't fucking know. But this is Tucker talked to Putin, for Christ's sake. He talked to Putin, and now he's got this guy on. You know, and I'm not a big fan of Putin. I'm not a big fan of Nick Fuentes, and he had him on, dude. That was kind of the end of Tucker for me. And you know, but now he's got this guy on, dude. So he's kind of like scraping the bottom of the barrel. He's going down further into the barrel. And you know what happened? You know, for one, this guy said that he rented out room 136, right? 136 does not fucking exist on the Vegas in Vegas, and in that I'm sorry, the Mandalay Bay. Room 136 does not exist probably on any floor. I wouldn't think it exists on any fucking floor because these floors are all pretty much streamlined, same thing. It does not fucking exist. So, you know, what are you talking about? The fuck are we talking about? And then he's talking about, you know, he talks about how bump stocks somehow are evil. No, what does that even mean, dude? That's like saying a gun is evil. A gun is evil. No, dude, it's the person behind it that's fucking bad, either bad or good. But you know, what are you talking about? It makes no sense, dude. And then he goes into and this is just the first 10 minutes, dude. First 10 minutes of this was like a fan fiction thing. You know, he starts talking about how you know, oh God, what did he go into? He's saying that the dude fired, you know, 1,000 rounds or whatever the fuck, you know, and he could have done it from one gun. Why did he have 21 guns? Because, motherfucker, when you fire too many bullets out of a gun, what do you think fucking happens? And he admits, I'm not a gun expert. And then he starts talking about how he fucking knows all this shit about guns and how he knows that there were multiple shooters out there because you can hear gunfire from different fucking areas. And it's like, and then he said something about how you can hear overlapping gunfire. Nobody has ever been able to find overlapping gunfire in any fucking body cam video, in any fucking civilian footage, any footage whatsoever based around the Las Vegas shooting. Nobody. And so that's the kind of shit this guy's peddling. You know, and that's what pisses me off is that here you are, you know, everyone's talking shit about it, you know, and I think even this Ian Caroll guy was talking shit about Tucker platforming this Nick Fuentes guy. It's like, dude, you're no better. You're actually worse. Like at least Nick Fuentes has like a, you know, a following. He's got a weird fucking stupid ideology and shit that he's following up on. But, this guy is just a fucking dude that reads Reddit and comes and fucking spits out all the bullshit he fucking either read about or thinks happened. It's ridiculous. And then he's trying to say that, at the end there where they cut me off, he's saying that you could hear automatic gunfire up and down the strip through 9 different body cams, 9, which is very specific, which is interesting. Wonder where that came from. 9 different body cams, throughout the night the after they already breached the room and the incident happened. Um, what's he talking about? I don't understand what this guy's even talking about, dude. None of this shit makes any sense. It's just a bunch of nonsense, dude. He admits that he wasn't there in the beginning. He didn't fucking get involved in this until I think recently. But it's like, and I know what's gonna happen, dude. Because I've watched him talk about Vegas before, and I know what his grift is. His grift is going to be Hoover's great. Cullen is, I think, in one of his videos, he said Cullen is the number one researcher in the Las Vegas community, and it's like, great, bro. That's your bar. That's where you set your fucking bar. I mean, yeah, dude. That tells me I shouldn't take you seriously at all. And I said, to me, it's just sad because this is Tucker Carlson, which I'm not a big Tucker Carlson fan, especially not anymore. But now I'm really not a fan. But at least he was kind of a journalist, more so than what you find on mainstream media. You may disagree with his points of view and his, all his, political stuff, but he was still more of a journalist than what you're going to find on mainstream media. The But now he's got this guy, he's getting all these weirdos on. As when all this broke out, Tucker was one of the few guys on mainstream media that was asking questions about Vegas after it happened, before we got any information. He was one of the few. There weren't very many. And he kept it alive a lot longer than anybody else did. He kept talking about it way past, the rest of the mainstream media. Um, so he knows what's going on here, right? And I'm watching as this Ian Carroll guy's talking, and he's just telling the narrative, And of course, as he's telling the narrative, say allegedly, 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 and as he's telling the narrative, you got Tucker raising his eyebrows, like, bro, you know all this shit, dude. Don't act, dude. You don't need to act. It's fine. It's all fine. But anyway, I just wanted to come back on here and because there's because I got booted off of that one. Obviously, the Tucker Carlson show does not like being restreamed, even though I was cutting it, I was breaking it, up like crazy. But obviously, I guess if I want to talk about this, I'm gonna have to actually clip everything and cut it all into clips, which I hate doing. It's a lot of work, and I probably won't do it because I just don't want to go through that shit for this fucking Ian Carroll piece of shit. But yeah, this fucking guy. I'm sorry, just in the first 10 minutes, it's like it's obvious this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Has no fucking idea what he's talking about. And and it's just one of those things, man. It's another one of these fucked up things that the Vegas shooting attracted. And to me it's sad. It's really sad because you know within all this, man, like, Tucker was the one guy who can kind of, you know, um, who kind of, kept this going for a little while. And so he's kind of a little bit more of an authority as far as the MSM goes, is with this event, and here we are with this bullshit, dude. He's platforming this fucking guy. And again, this guy, when he's talking about you can hear multiple guns being fired because they sounded different. It's like, bro, you're not a gun expert. He says it himself, he's not a gun expert, but other people have said, and it's like, what other people, dude? So it's like it's a typical argumentation of somebody that's into this kind of conspiracy theory shit, that is into kind of just saying what they think, talking from their feelings. And so, and I know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that have actual evidence and information and stuff like that. They're doing it the right way. This is not one of those fucking people, and he never was. So, but what he's basically saying is, he's not an expert, but he knows that there were multiple guns being fired that night, and that he talked, or that people didn't believe. So it's easy for people to say, like, people don't believe that this is true. People don't believe thing is true. What people? What people? Who are you talking about? Like, who doesn't believe? Like, what are you talking about? But they don't have that kind of context, because really they probably read it somewhere online, and they believe what they read online because everything on the internet is true, obviously. And and they run with it. And this is that kind of fan fiction for this event that this is. It's just bullshit. And it's frustrating because when I see people say, well, it brings attention to Vegas and all this sort of, no, it doesn't bring the right kind of attention. It brings the fucking nut jobs into this stuff. This is the kind of shit when people are lying and saying bullshit. Then all of a sudden you get somebody comes in and believes this shit, and then they're saying, well, this guy said it, so it must be right. And then all of a sudden they have this weird theory about helicopters and all this sort of bullshit because this fucking dude said it was true. And he said John Cullen is the #1 investigator within the Vegas community, so it must be fucking true, right? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But that's the kind of damage this shit does. So anyway, like I said, I just came on again because obviously this is not going to happen. Not going to be able to do this because, Tucker copyright strike me. My little channel. All 5 of you guys watch it, man. Tucker doesn't want you seeing his thing. And him and Ian Carroll. But whatever, dude. Seeing Caroll guy. Like I said, I was watching quite a bit of stuff on him today, and he attacked Nick Fuentes, right? Which again, I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes either, man. But I'm not a fan of any of these people. But he's attacking Nick Fuentes, and he said that he's a Fed. He said he's a Fed, and I forget why he said he was a Fed, but he said he's a Fed, and I'm thinking, brother, your Vegas experience, your Las Vegas shooting experience is based off of a guy named John Cullen. John Cullen used to be John E. Hoover. That was his channel. J. Edgar Hoover. That was his channel. That's what his channel was named after. And you have the nerve to call somebody else a Fed? Like, you're stupid. You're stupid. And a lot of people online are saying that, this guy's a Fed. I don't fucking know. But I mean, honestly, I kind of wouldn't doubt it at this point. This guy's just some weird plant because he seems to have a lot of weird opinions about weird shit. Charlie Kirk assassination, all that sort of stuff. He's following the Candace Owens, grift on that. The, now, Vegas, obviously, anything out there, there's a conspiracy about. You'll probably find this guy talking about it, and he'll probably be taking the extreme fucking point within that conspiracy. So, anyways, with that, I'm out of here. I'm gonna end this, man. Fuck this thing. Fuck this guy. Fuck Tucker. I'm done with that.
Dude, pointed stick.
Pointed stick. Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick?
Pointed stick.
Whoa, pointed stick.
That pointed stick.
Pointed stick!
Stick. We don't have any time for your trolling behavior on this channel. It just isn't welcome here. And so, good riddance to you.